Hey Andrew, I'm going to give you a quick demo on how to set this up. So your bobbin thread's coming up through the bottom here, and we need to put it through the back of the sewing jig. So I turn it upside down, and I stick it through the center of the two movable parts, if you can see that. And then I flip it over to right side up, and then the threads come through the center here. You can see that. And then we're going to slide it underneath the presser foot that's up in the up position. So you got this channel or that channel, either one. Slide it across and get it lined up with your two holes in your sewing machine arm. Of course, these two holes aren't going to line up with mine because they're customized for your sewing machine. So I'm gonna have to use my tape. I have my tape for my alignment marks on my sewing jig, so I know where to put it. So that's about where we should be. And then initially, until you get the bolt to secure yours in your arm, you can just tape it in the four lower spots. Let me get the upper thread here out of the way. There we go. So just use some masking tape to tape it down. These four areas so that it doesn't move like it's want to. And then initially you have your needle up, presser foot up. You're going to go ahead and stick your lines in, and you're going to have these movable pieces opened a little wider than your lines are. And the needle's in the center position. You'll stick your line in, and I need to actually open this a little more, so I'm going to follow the arrows to open it a little more. And then I'll go ahead and drop my presser foot. My lines taut here, threads I mean. And then I'm going to drop the centered position needle down to the line. And I see I need to move everything to the left. So I'm going to go, and this is where the learning curve comes in. This one I'm going to move this in so that's opposite of the arrow. And this one's I'm going to move with the arrow, so it's going out. And so basically you're turning both these things the same direction. So you'll get used to going right or left with this, meaning both of them in time. To me, it's second nature. So I'm moving them now to the left, both of them. And then I'm going to check to see if my needles, I want my needles centered between these two lines. So I went a little too far, so I need to go the other direction now. Moving them both to the right now. A little more to the right. There we go. Now we're centered. And then I want these sandwiching these lines tight, but not too tight. So I want to be able to still move them back and forth. And so we're sandwiched good. We don't have any side to side shimmy shimmy, but we're going up and back. So that's the snugness we want. And it's dead center now. And now with that in mind, I go ahead and lift the presser foot up, and I'll go ahead and set my zigzag width. But the first thing you got to do is run your needle down and up. So I run the needle all the way down and get it to the highest up position, and then you have to get your thread out because it'll be twisted now. And then I'll go ahead and put my line back in. Drop the presser foot, and I'll go ahead and set my zigzag width. No, I don't drop my presser foot, I'm just setting my zigzag width. What was I saying? So now I'm going to set my zigzag width to, what is this one? This line is, okay, so mine's digital, so mine's 1.8 millimeters. Of course, you're going to do yours manually. and then my stitch length is 0.95. You're going to do yours manually. And my upper tension is 5.25. So again, you're going to do yours manually by trial and error. And then I have my presser foot pressure set at 20, and you're going to, you know, all yours is manual. Okay. Now that I got my zigzag width, I'm going to go bring my presser foot down and my needle down and bring it down to make sure it's bisecting the center of the line to the side that the needle is at. In this case, it's on the left side. And I'm just the hair off to the center, and that's good, as long as I'm not too far. So that looks good on that side. So now I'll take my lines aside, I'll run the needle down, make sure it doesn't hit the sewing jig, and up, and then I have to take the thread out because it's twisted in there once you run it down. And then I put the line back in, press the foot down, and then I run the needle down again to see how it's centering up on the side on the right, and it's perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and drop up the presser foot, move the needle side, drop it down, all the way down, all the way up, because you always want to move the needle in the forward position. Don't ever want to turn your hand wheel backwards. And now I'm going to put my lines in the where I want them, and I have a reverse stitch mark right there, so I'm going to put that right just before the needle. And I'm going to actually pinch my lines. My lines are a little spread apart up here. I'll squeeze them together a little bit. That's where I want to be, right there. Then I'm going to do a reverse stitch, and we're going to go now. Thread caught. This upper thread is caught. So I have to, the only way I can get it undone is to lift the presser foot. There we go. Oh, it's the, yeah, I think we're okay. We'll see here in a minute. Now we're going to go forward. I put the threads on this side of the block now when I'm going forward. So your sewing jig is gray with some little sparkles in it. Mine doesn't have that. I kind of like it. It's a little sparkly. So you could speed it up a little bit. I just kind of push this down every now and then when it pops out. And I slow down when I get to the near the end. We got a ways to go. Get near the end, and I got a clear presser foot so I know when to stop. One more. Now I reverse it the last centimeter. Needle up, press foot up, and we pull it up to the tunnel. Twist it to the side so we can get through the gap. There we go. And so here we go. Perfect. That's how we want her to be. Front and back. She's ready to ship.